Hi students, well here's my second video on lesson 5.5 part 1. This must be your second level folder, and today we are going to talk about writing equations of perpendicular lines. So the first one we cover parallel lines, and I'm hoping you remember that parallel lines stays for slopes that must be the same. If I have -1 slope, then the other equation will be -1. If I have positive 3/5 for one equation, then positive 3/5 will be for the second one. So the difference today, when we talk about perpendicular lines, what you have to remember is that the slopes will be opposite reciprocals. So what do we mean by that? I started with very basic example here, just to remind you that the reciprocal of 1/2 will be 2/1. So basically we're flipping those two numbers. But also, not just reciprocals, we're talking about opposite. So if one slope is positive, then the other one has to be negative. So every time you think about perpendicular lines, pay attention to the opposite slope with different sign and also reciprocal numbers. And here are two examples of two equations of two parallel lines, perpendicular lines. Sorry. First one is 2/1x plus 4, and second one opposite, negative, and reciprocal will be 1/2. Another example, another two equations. We have one equation with -2/3 x minus 3. So the perpendicular line to the first one will be opposite, positive, and we flip the numbers, reciprocal fraction. So this is pretty much what we're going to have. We will have practice examples with given one equation in slope-intercept form, and we're going to have to write down the second equation of the perpendicular line. So let's start with a couple examples converting those to opposite reciprocals. If I have 2/1, first thing, this is positive, opposite will be negative. Then we flip the numbers, so 1/2, -1/2 will be the opposite reciprocal. Second example, -9/10. Well, the opposite is positive, so I don't need to write positive sign. I just need to flip those two numbers, so 10/9. If I have -5, this is the same as -5/1. So the opposite will be positive 1/5. The last example will be 1/3, opposite negative, and 3/1. And we're done practicing converting numbers, fractions, integers, all of those from one thing to another using opposite reciprocal rule. Now the actual example, we have given point and also equation y equals 4/3x plus 6. Well, if you remember what we did yesterday or the previous video, we started with writing the slope. If the slope of this line is 4/3, then the opposite reciprocal slope for this will be -3/4. Well, that's the main thing. That's what you have to remember. Everything else, I think you already learned how to apply the steps. So we're writing y equals mx plus b form, and we substitute y, so x and y coordinates from the point, y -1 equals to the slope, new slope will be -3/4. Remember, we are using the perpendicular line slope now. This times x, which is -4, plus b. Let's go ahead and solve this equation. So we have -1 is equal to -3/4 times -4 will give us +3 plus b. Next step, subtract 3 from both sides. Those two cancel. So b will be equal to -4. Well, now from here I'm ready to write down my final equation of the second line, which is y equals -3/4. Again, remember you're using this slope, -3/4x minus 4, which is this b. That is the perpendicular line equation that we're using here. Alright, well, we're gonna move to the next one, and next example actually will be your try. So if you follow the notes and you go ahead and copy this down, point of -2 and -4, equation y equals -2 over 7x plus 3, please take a moment to pause the video and continue the work. Alright, back to the video. So step 1, we write down the slope. The slope opposite will be positive, reciprocal, 7 over 2. That is the slope we're looking for. So perpendicular line equation, we're going to start with y equals mx plus b, and this is your x and y, so y is -4 equals to, the slope will be 7 over 2 times x is -2 plus b. -4 will be equal to, we multiply those, we get -7 plus b, plus 7 plus 7 on each side. So -4 plus 7 is positive 3b. Here is my b, and the equation of the perpendicular line will be y equals 7 over 2x plus 3. Yay! Good job, good job. I think you got it. I think we will have a huge success here. Okay, number 3. Now, number 3 is one of the examples when we are having, in this case, standard form. So the equation is not in y equals mx plus b form. So step 1 here will be to convert this equation and write it down in y equals mx plus b form. This is the equation of the first line. So let's work on this one first, and then we will get the second equation. So 4y plus 2x equals 12. We're solving for y, so we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. Those two cancel. We have 4y is equal to -2x plus 12. Remember, we can't subtract those from each other because they are not like terms. Final step here, we will divide by 4 each one of those 3 terms. And we have y is equal to -1/2. Well, -2 over 4, you gotta simplify, as -1/2 x, plus 12 divided by 4 is just number 3. So we have this good looking equation, y equals -1/2 x plus 3 calculated, and from this equation I can write the perpendicular line slope, which will be opposite reciprocal, so it's going to be just positive 2 over 1. Alright, very good. So the perpendicular line equation now, we're using x and y again from this point. We substitute -1 equals to 2 over 1 times x is 8 plus b. -1 will be equal to 2 times 8 is 16 plus b. Subtract 16 from each side, those two cancel, so -17 is equal b. We have m and b. Final step, write down the equation y equals to 2. You can put 2 over 1, but 2 over 1 actually is 2, so we don't need to write over 1. X, and then minus 17. That will be my final answer here. And we're done with this example. So it's going to be your turn now to try on this one. Given a point and equation, you have to follow the steps. Step 1, solve this equation, -2x plus y equals -35 for y. Once you get what y is equal to, you're going to write it up here, write down the slope, and complete the second equation of the perpendicular line. So go ahead, pause the video, and work on this example, please. Okay, thank you for coming back. Let's calculate that together, or at least check your answers with me. Plus 2x plus 2x. cancel, so y is equal to 2x minus 35. So 2x minus 35 is the equation. Y equals 2x minus 35. Okay, from here the slope is opposite of that, so will be negative, and this is the same as 2 over 1. So 1 over 2 will be the slope of the perpendicular line that we're looking for. And we're going to apply y equals mx plus b equation. We substitute x and y, so y is 1 equals to, the slope is negative 1/2 times x is 5 plus b. So we have 1 equals to negative 5 over 2 plus b. And you just have to add 5 over 2 to each side. And by the way, 5 over 2 is 2.5. So if you're using calculator, you will get that this will be 3.5 for b. And b definitely could be a decimal number. I mentioned that before, so don't be afraid to write down decimal numbers for y-intercept. It is important the slope to stay in fraction form. So the equation will be y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3.5. And that's it. Awesome. I think you're doing pretty good job. Just follow my steps and I think everything will be alright. Just one more example. And the last one actually will have involved point slope form. So remember again, the equation is not in y equals mx plus b form. So we gotta rewrite and solve this equation to make it look like this. So y minus 5 equals to 1/2 times x plus 8 will be my first step to apply distributive property here and simplify this equation into slope-intercept form. So y minus 5 is equal to 1/2 x. 1/2 times 8 will be just plus 4. Then I'm going to add 5 to each side. Minus 5 plus 5 cancel. So y is equal to 1/2 x plus 9. This is the equation we need here. So y is equal to 1/2 x plus 9. From this equation, I'm going to write the slope of the perpendicular line, which will be opposite negative sign, and we flip those two numbers 2 over 1. This is my perpendicular line slope. So next step for perpendicular line, y equals mx plus b. We're going to use x and y coordinates of the point. So 10 is equal to, m is negative 2. Again, 2 over 1, same as negative 2. We don't need to write over 1. Times x is 7 plus b. Okay, well 10 will be equal to negative 14 plus b. Plus 14 to each one of those two cancel, so we have 24 is equal b. In the final equation, y will be equal to negative 2x plus 24. And now, with this, we can conclude our lesson on perpendicular line. Please take a look again through the examples. Make sure you're taking the nicely notes, just like what I'm showing you. And every single example will be aligned with the practice examples that you're supposed to complete. Thank you for watching the video, and I'm ready to answer questions if you have some.